Question 837. Should people be allowed to obscure their identities online?
Well, they do anyway, so...
Should they be allowed to?
Me and Badger refuse to answer that question.
Why do you and Badger refuse to answer? I think Badger's going to answer, have a strong opinion on it. Badger!
My opinion is it depends what they're doing. You know, if you're just talking about somebody with a Twitter account, I don't see the problem. I don't see a problem with the general public not knowing who that person is. I possibly see a problem without them having to verify who they are to the company that runs the social media service, because you
can't trust them. You can't trust them.
Sorry?
You can't trust them.
Let's bear in mind here that the only person I can actually see in this actual chat right now who actually has got her full name, so her first name and her surname in there is Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
I think that may be a bit of an indication of where this is going. Yeah, now okay, my name is out there, as you know.
That's mine.
My surname's out there.
Mine's not.
But you know, if we exactly, well, there you go. So it's like, but no, is it something we should be obliged to do? No.
I am strongly of the opinion that anonymity is a right, and that it's nobody's business who I am in almost any context.
Is it not?
No.
So you think online you shouldn't have to be able to identify, not even to the companies?
No.
My feeling on that would be, as an opinion, I think I agree with Badger that anonymity is a right. But if you're talking about a policy, I think if it can be guaranteed that everyone is honestly themselves, then everybody should be required. It should be universal, and only if it's universal. If there's chance for cheating, then there'll be chance for cheating for many. And
if there's
that's wrong. If it's a requirement.
If there's a platform that requires you to identify yourself to the platform holders and the people on it in order to use it, that's fine, because it, you know, in a sense, the people running the platforms are private entities. However, I don't use those platforms because they're almost universally shit. That's why I don't use Facebook.
Yeah, whenever I joined Facebook as MathPig, I'm actually Matt H Pig as my surname because it wouldn't let me put Matt as the first name. So
Yeah,
I'm Matt
the
with
ones-
one T and H Pig for a surname.
I got to say, my new Facebook allowed critical cripple. I was surprised.
All the ones that require you to identify yourself to use them seem to be very... They're bland. They're just... They're cooking videos and people waving their cats around, and that's about it. There's nothing actually interesting happening on them.
No, agreed. Quickly in the
Because
chat,
anonymity actually allows people to express themselves.
in a way you couldn't.
Yes.
Antjer says yes. Hanging with John Wilde says yes. Ilian Moon says yes, 100%. Ricardo says business answer. Hanging with John Wilde says yes. My name is John Wilde, and I'm sticking to that story. And then you're all talking about who knows your last name, last and first name. The only person here that knows my last name, I think, is MathPig.
And he has forgotten.
Nobody around here knows any of my shit.
Yeah,
I thought
but
your
I
name
have
was
your
Badger.
phone number.
You do have my phone number.
That's my species, Dave.
And I've been
We don't
taking-
all
and I-
look alike.
And I've been taking bids.
You've been taking bids. Find out whether they're cute first.
Well, it hasn't gotten over $1 yet, so that ain't worth pushing a send button.
Go on.
We're assuming we're still on the same question, so I had to step away for 2 secs.
Yes.
But, no, I mean, I'm pretty sure we've had sort of a similar question to this before.
We've come at this from a few angles.
Yeah, and again, one of the things is, considering we probably know of people, in our own around our own communities and on the outskirts of our communities, who have been known to use personal information against people, in completely unethical ways. Then, if just keeping, like putting a blooming handle up, which doesn't give your full name away or anything, is I think is more than acceptable, even if it just makes it that little bit harder for them to do that.
I would add. To
No,
that,
I know.
But what about but what you see? You're all arguing for the side of protecting the people that want to protect their identities, but you're also neglecting the harassment that is potentially possible as well.
Block them.
By people that are obscuring their identities.
Block them.
You can't block them
Literally
because that just
block
creates another one.
Block that as well.
That's the trade-off. That is kind of the trade-off with it, though, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, that is the downside. I still think, even if they did have to put their full names out there, these assholes would still do the same thing.
Yes.
And they might,
they could only do it once. They could only do it once.
Unless the system was enforced through authoritarian means, there'd be ways around it where they could do it just as they do it now, just by using.
So you're suggesting we need authoritarian means?
No, I'm suggesting that's a terrible idea in every possible sense.
I don't know. I think Twitter could have a good police force. They wouldn't abuse weapons or nothing like that. They'd be the good guys.
They'd be the good guys.
Well, Twitter's such a happy name.
Well, they've been okay recently. They've got
images displayed properly.
No.
Sorry, Jeff.
They've been okay the last couple of weeks. They kicked off Katie Hopkins and they kicked off Graham Linehan, so they've been all right the last couple of weeks. Twitter. So
I thought you were going to say they've been all right for the last couple of minutes.
Oh, hey, by the way, is there anybody here of you English-speaking folks?
No.
Who does animation kind of things? Who could help me put together an absolutely brilliant idea I've had in the last couple of days?
I don't know. I wouldn't know where to begin.
Okay.
Possibly, depending on how static it is.
It may be Badger.
I make
actually,
moving things, but
it could be fairly static.
I make moving things, but mine. I like to make things that look like paintings with motion.
Like Monty Python used to do in their opening titles. With the jaw that moves of an old static picture, or an elbow that moves, or that kind of stuff. Because that method could work. Okay, here's my other question: is there a social icon that belongs to the Tories, like the red hat is to the Trumpies?
The Tories in the UK.
Yeah.
It's a tree.
You mean? Oh no, but that's just their logo. It's not really a.
Amazing MAGA logo.
A mop top.
Just put Boris's face on it.
I mean, you got to remember that. You got to remember that logo was pretty recent. That tree logo, because it was always the flaming torch logo for like decades.
The flaming. You could still use the flaming torch logo.
It would need something. It would need to have physical presence. Something that people would take to rallies and hold up, and they hold it up. That.
Oh no!
That
oh no!
This or that.
Picture of Boris when he was stuck on the zip line.
No.
No, there's not.
Right.
I don't think there's anything quite like the MAGA hat in Britain.
No, I don't think.
Yet.
Not with the Conservatives. Not with the Conservatives. I've seen perhaps more like banners and things that on the left or whatever. That feel a bit more.
The thing with the UK Conservatives is they survive by being so boring that they can sneak things through because nobody fucking wants to listen to them.
No. Right, let's get back to this. Okay, Sammy says...
Okay, thank you.
Ricardo says, as long as ISP and VPN can ID point of entry, I'm okay with anonymity. However, this will not extend to doxing. Sammy says, what about paedophiles getting onto kids' sites? Exactly how are they meant to police kids' sites?
On the ISP thing, no, I hide that.
You hide that, yes.
Okay.
What about paedophiles getting access to kids' sites?
What's that question? Huh?
What about paedophiles getting access to kids' sites?
I think
How can
kids'
you
sites
ensure-
seem to be separate from the
And they
the
still-
main internet?
How can you even suggest such a thing?
Because it happens constantly.
Well,
Well,
yeah, I suppose.
You get again, no. Generally, people, even if they try to be anonymous now, they still get fucking caught now, though.
Not necessarily. You don't know the level of.
You might
appeal to not-
you may want to look up Matt Bell.
You could tell us.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, he was actually actually sort of part of somewhat on the YouTube community a few years ago. And he disappeared for like, but he was this fucking horrible bloody Scottish. He was from Scotland. He was this horrible bloody Christian apologist. But he was sort of part of like G-Man and Shani's sort of fucking group. You know that group that
Marvelous.
This is Matt Atheists Have No Morals Bell. So you sort of know. He's now in prison for about 20 years, I believe. We found out that he was on internet child pornography sites, including one where there was that was from the Philippines, where children were literally. I don't even want to say the terms, but stuff was happening to them live on camera. And
Okay, two things. We weren't trying to talk about how to police paedophiles' access to sites that but has got that stuff on.
The thing was, he was caught.
We're trying to know how we keep them out of kids' sites. I mean, the problem is at that point, you've got to track somebody.
Hold on, but when you talk about children, define a children's website?
You go with your Cartoon Network, your Disney games that are aimed at.
I mean, the thing is, most sort of things, especially when it comes to anything social media, generally they're not aimed at having kids. Now, sort of say children can't have profiles on that. Yes, of course, there's kids that have got profiles on Facebook and kids that have got YouTube channels.
No, we're talking about ones that are made for kids. Like, usually they require parental sign-up. There are loads of them. Sorry, have a kid. They're everywhere. Right, the issue is the account has to be no problem. The account has to be created by the parent.
Yeah, and again,
Right.
I'd say that then if that's the case, it's there is a bit of an onus on the parent.
No, the parent can't police the usage of it. Not completely. There's still a level of responsibility on the part of the company.
What? Yeah, there is, but there has to be an element of both there.
Yes, entirely.
There has to be.
But you're still stuck. You're still stuck with the parent. If a company turns around and says, okay, but sign-ups to this site are basically completely anonymous. Parents won't let their kids go on there.
Yeah, and they shouldn't. I've hit any parent that let their kids go on a site like that.
Right, so the point is the company, even if it's just for economic reasons, has to somehow police it, in which case you cannot have anonymity there. Right, anyway. What Adjer says, I feel like if the right person were to try hard enough, they could track down most anybody online. To some degree. Most people are very, very bad at leaving breadcrumbs. There's only a couple of people that I've looked for that I've not been able to find.
Yeah.
Badger.
Well, I mean,
Why were you looking for people?
yeah.
Fun.
Well, I know
Today.
I'm not going to mention the person's name, but there's one fucking idiot who successfully managed to dox himself whilst attempting to dox someone else. So,
Yeah, that's impressive.
Right. Next question,
Well,
I think.
I doxed myself right from the beginning, so there you go.
Did you? Where are you?
I'm relative.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
Wait, one at a time.
Her name is, but I'm not going to say it out.
I'm relatively careful with not putting publicly identifiable information anywhere, but I'm fairly sure it would still be possible for somebody to track me down if they really wanted to.
We
But,
know, Badger,
if they
we
were
know
to
you
do
live in
that,
Wimbledon
it would
Common.
be a massive privacy invasion, and I would make a whole stink about it.
Badger,
It's
we
all
know,
right. Your details have been sent to the relevant people already, Badger.
Badger, we know that you live in Wimbledon Common and you're really a womble. Okay, it's not a big secret.
All
And
my
we know you're
information is readily accessible. I use my full and honest name all the time. I use my full and honest avatar all the time. If they want to come get me, they're welcome to, and they're going to be very unhappy when they try.
Finding me used to be a lot easier. It's less so now.
Yeah,
Right.
Finding me's pretty easy.
I'm just going to turn up on your doorstep. Right. Next question.
But how can someone find
You
me
give
if I
me
can't found
a heads
myself?
up, Dave, or I'll have nothing in the house for you.
How can someone find me when I've not found myself?
Oh!
Does anyone
Andy,
truly know who you are or who they are themselves?
Like, wow, man.
I like where you're coming from on that one,
like-
Jeff.
That's like really heavy, man.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed that, please hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. If you think you've got a better answer or just want to tell us how wrong we are, leave a comment down below. Subscribe down here for new questions every day and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on our live shows. If you click over here, you'll see our latest upload. Over here, for what YouTube thinks you'll love the most. And finally, for a complete playlist of all our currently released questions, click here.